Most travelers don't realize how close they are to being grounded, delayed, or stuck over something as simple as identification. One lost wallet, one damaged passport, or one unexpected checkpoint can turn a normal day into a travel nightmare. And the solution to that problem is something most people already qualify for, but completely overlook. Today, we're talking about one of the most underestimated pieces of travel ID in the United States, the passport card, and why savvy travelers quietly rely on it when things don't go according to plan. Most people either don't have a passport card, or they have one and barely think about it. It sits in a drawer, gets ignored, or gets written off as something that's only useful for quick trips to Canada or Mexico. But the passport card isn't really about where it takes you. It's about what it protects you from and how it simplifies travel and everyday life in ways most travelers don't expect. The passport card is issued by the United States government and proves both your identity and your citizenship. Unlike a passport book, it isn't designed for international flights, but that doesn't make it less valuable. It makes it a different tool altogether. For many travelers, the passport card ends up being the most practical form of identification they own. One of the biggest reasons the passport card matters now is Real ID. As of May 7, 2025, travelers 18 and older need Real ID compliant identification to board domestic flights in the United States. While temporary workarounds have existed, those exceptions aren't something you want to depend on. The passport card fully meets Real ID requirements. It works nationwide, it's federally issued, and it doesn't depend on your state's DMV system or timelines. If you move often, travel frequently, or just don't want another DMV appointment, the passport card is a clean, reliable solution. It's a permanent fix, not a temporary workaround, and it gives you confidence that you'll meet identification requirements wherever you go. Another advantage people overlook is durability. A passport book is paper. It bends, tears, and once it's damaged, replacing it can be expensive and inconvenient. A passport card is plastic. It's designed for everyday use. It fits in your wallet, doesn't take up space, and holds up far better over time. That means it's actually with you when something unexpected happens. And availability matters. The best ID is the one you have on you when plans change. Most people leave their passport book at home unless they're flying internationally. The passport card stays in your wallet, ready when you need it. One of the most underrated benefits of the passport card is how useful it is as a second form of identification. Banks, loans, apartments, employment paperwork, and notaries often require two forms of ID. Without one, people end up scrambling for birth certificates or utility bills. With a passport card, you're already prepared. You pull out your driver's license and your passport card, and the process moves forward without delay. If this kind of practical travel knowledge feels useful, you're exactly the type of traveler this channel is built for. Staying one step ahead of travel headaches before they happen is what savvy travel is all about. The passport card is also a smart option for age verification. When bars, venues, or events scan driver's licenses, they often capture far more information than necessary, including your address. A passport card shows your photo, your date of birth, and your citizenship, but not your address. You give them what they need and nothing extra. In a world where personal data is constantly collected, minimizing unnecessary exposure is simply smart. The same logic applies to online identity verification. More government services, financial institutions, and secure platforms now require users to upload or scan identification. Because the passport card is federally issued, it's widely accepted and rarely questioned. If you've ever had a state ID rejected during verification, the passport card often solves that problem immediately. A lot of travelers don't realize how often identification problems happen when people least expect them. Flights get delayed, phones die, wallets get misplaced, or plans change at the last minute. When that happens, the difference between a minor inconvenience and a full-blown travel disaster often comes down to whether you have backup identification on you. The passport card fills that gap quietly and reliably. There's also a psychological advantage to being prepared. When you know you have a second government-issued ID in your wallet, you move differently through travel situations. You're calmer at security checkpoints, you're less stressed when plans change, and you're far more confident dealing with officials, airlines, or customer service when something goes wrong. Prepared travelers don't panic. They adapt. Another scenario people rarely think about is domestic emergencies. Natural disasters, evacuations, or sudden travel requirements don't always give you time to gather documents. If you need to travel quickly or verify your identity under pressure, having a passport card already on you can make an enormous difference. It's one of those tools you hope you never need, but you're grateful for the moment you do. The passport card also makes sense for travelers who share documents within households. Families often store passports together, which sounds convenient until one document goes missing or needs renewal. Carrying a passport card separately gives you independence from that system. Even if everything else is locked away or temporarily unavailable, you still have proof of who you are and where you belong. And if it's lost or damaged, replacing it is far easier than replacing a passport book. And while we often focus on airports, travel doesn't just happen in terminals. Road trips, train travel, unexpected overnight stays, and rerouted plans all come with moments where identification is required. Hotels, rental companies, medical facilities, and even roadside situations can require ID. The passport card works seamlessly in those moments without forcing you to risk your passport book. There's also the cost-benefit factor. Compared to the time, money, and stress involved in replacing lost documents or resolving identity issues, the passport card is a relatively small investment. Savvy travelers don't just plan for ideal trips, they plan for realistic ones. Delays, mistakes, and curveballs are part of travel, and preparation is what separates smooth recoveries from expensive problems. As travel rules evolve, identification requirements tend to become stricter, not looser. Having multiple compliant forms of ID future-proofs you against sudden changes. Instead of scrambling to meet new rules, you're already prepared. That's not just smart travel, that's savvy travel. For cruise travelers, the passport card becomes even more valuable. Many experienced cruisers lock their passport book in the cabin safe and carry the passport card on excursions. If something goes wrong ashore and identification is needed, having a U.S.-issued ID on your person can make a stressful situation much easier to manage. It's not about expecting trouble, it's about being prepared for it. There's also a strategy seasoned travelers use that most people never consider. Instead of letting their passport book and passport card expire at the same time, they stagger the expiration dates. That way, when one is up for renewal, the other is still valid. It means you're never completely without government-issued identification, even during renewal periods. It's important to understand what the passport card doesn't do. It can't be used for international air travel, and it has limitations for international land and sea travel. It's not a replacement for a passport book. It's a companion. Used together, they give you flexibility, backup, and peace of mind. The passport card isn't flashy. It doesn't unlock far-off destinations or fill pages with stamps. What it does is quietly reduce risk, protect your information, and make travel smoother when plans change. That's why savvy travelers keep one. Not because it's exciting, but because it works. If you've ever had a moment where having the right ID saved you time, stress, or a serious headache, share that story in the comments. Tell us about a time when this kind of ID was actually helpful for you. Those real-world experiences help other travelers stay prepared. And if you want more smart, practical travel tips that actually make a difference, make sure you're subscribed. Travel smart, stay savvy. I'll see you in the next one.